Hey everyone, welcome to the reason why you can't stop thinking about your ex and it's not what you think. So, if you're a divorced lady, then you know, if you are like many of the ladies that I have helped and reached out with and spoken to, you can't stop thinking about your ex, not just because they exist still and you have to connect with them sometimes, but it's because your brain is trying to resolve an incomplete narrative. It's not because you want them back. There's an unresolved story here that's creating psychological tension and needs closure. So, I'm going to walk you through some of the reasons why your brain does this, and it might make you feel a little bit more sane and normal. So, let me guess. You thought the divorce would end. You signed the papers, you walked away, and you thought that would be it. But instead, he's still in your head, replaying conversations and imagining what you should have said. And these are, I've seen happen in most cases where the divorce was not mutual, was difficult, and all of this, and people still have some resentments, and it's hard to discuss these. And you're probably imagining what you should have said, wondering what he's doing, and maybe you hate yourself for it because you know it's over. And why are you still thinking about it? You're probably wondering to yourself. Here is what nobody is telling you. It isn't about him, it's about how your brain processes incomplete narratives. Once you understand that, you can finally get him out of your head for good. So, for the next 10 minutes, you'll understand why you can't stop thinking about your ex, what your brain is actually trying to resolve, and the one practice that finally creates closure. Let's get into it. So, the divorce is final, you know it's over, you might even know what it was or that it was the right decision, but he's still occupying mental real estate that you desperately want back. You're analyzing what went wrong and imagining different outcomes. Checking his social media, maybe. And the cost is that you're spending a lot of energy on someone who's no longer in your life. And you know this, and I don't want to make anybody feel bad about this, but I want you to build the life you actually want. And so that's what I do. I'm Priscilla Podesta. I'm a marriage and family therapist with 15 years of experience, and this is one of the most common patterns I see. Women who are intellectually done with their marriage, but emotionally still entangled. Not because they want him back or her back, but because the brain is stuck in an unresolved loop. So let's go figure out what this loop is, how to go about it, how to overcome. I'm going to show you 5 reasons you can't stop thinking about your ex and the practice that finally creates that closure in your brain that you're searching for. Let's dive in. Number 1, your brain hates unfinished stories. Human brains are wired for narrative completion, and when a story ends abruptly without any resolution, your brain keeps running scenarios. It's not about wanting him or her, it's about needing the story to make sense. Your brain is searching for. Your brain is searching for the missing pieces that would create a coherent ending. But you're not stuck on the other person, you're stuck on the incomplete narrative. So every woman who says, I can't stop thinking about my ex, is actually saying, I can't make sense of what happened. It's an intellectual process that we go through, and we want to make meaning, and not all feelings are problems. So let's think of it in a new way. Think of you're reading a book where the last chapter is missing. You know the story's over, but your brain keeps trying to write the ending. You imagine different versions and replay earlier chapters looking for clues. It's kind of like the choose your own adventure story. That's what's happening with your ex. Your brain is trying to complete the story. We all think in storylines. Notice this. When you think about your ex, are you missing him or her, or are you trying to understand what happened? And that is totally normal to want to understand so that maybe you can move on, have a little bit more closure, and have a little more compassion on the other person if you want to. And this is why just stop thinking about them doesn't work. Number two, trying to suppress thoughts makes them stronger. How does this work? The more you try not to think about something, the more you want to, or the more it shows up in your head. Kind of that's also how trauma happens, where we try to push it away, but it keeps coming up. It's called the white bear problem. Tell yourself not to think of a white bear, and all you can think about now is a white bear. So, shame around thinking about your ex creates resistance. This resistance amplifies the thoughts instead of releasing them. So, it's almost like thinking more about it creates more of the problem. Obviously, it's like paying attention to anxiety. The more you think about it, the more anxious you're going to feel. So, the problem isn't that you're thinking about them, it's that you're fighting with the thoughts of thinking. So, women who beat themselves up for being stuck on him or her or staying stuck longer than they simply want to, just observe the thoughts without judgment. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. Obviously, the harder you push it down, the more force it takes. And eventually, what does it do with all that force? It shoots back up to the surface and over your head. So, your thoughts about your ex are the same. The more you suppress them, the more violently they return. Don't try to push down. Anything we try to push down, it always comes up to the surface. So next time you think about your ex, instead of saying, stop it, why am I doing this? Just notice. There's that thought again. No judgment, just observation. And ask it to move away. I don't need this right now. I don't need to think about this. But here's the deeper reason this keeps happening. Number 3, you're confusing thinking about him with or her missing the relationship. Most of the time, you're not really missing him or her. You're missing the version of yourself who had a clear role and identity. And that's the biggest loss in divorce, is the identity factor. You're missing the structure, the routine, the sense of purpose that your brain associated with that person at the time when you felt more defined, the most defined in your life. So you don't miss them, you miss having answers. And maybe they also provided a certain comfort and you co-regulated together. So when I ask women, what specifically do you miss? They rarely say the person. They say knowing what to expect, having plans, feeling needed, and having a partner role. And who doesn't want that? It's totally normal. So ask yourself, do I miss them specifically, or do I miss having someone there? Do I miss the actual relationship, or do I miss having a clear identity? Am I thinking about who he or she was, or who I was when I was with them? If you're missing an identity more than the person, you're grieving the loss of self and not the loss of them. And this is why closure feels impossible. So give yourself the gift of getting to know yourself. And we'll get into that more in another video and later in this one. Number 4, you're waiting for them to give you closure. Closure doesn't come from them, it comes from you. You think they apologized, explained, or acknowledged what happens, or maybe they didn't even say anything. They just kept it open-ended, or didn't want to explain it at all. But they don't give you closure. You create it yourself. You need to decide to close that door, and it's a decision that you make. So waiting for them to provide it for you keeps you stuck in that dependency, and you don't need this version of the story to close yours. So create your own version. Closure isn't a conversation, it's a decision. I've seen women get the apology they wanted and still not feel closure. So I've asked them, what else were you expecting? What else would have been helpful to hear from them? And they still cannot answer because you want the assurance, but you're not going to get it until you give it to yourself. I've seen women never speak to their ex again and find complete peace. And the difference is internal versus external resolution. So think of closure like a door. You're the one standing at the door, waiting for them to close it from the other side. But you're on the wrong side of the door. You have to close it from your side. They don't have that power. and only you do. So that should be a very freeing thought. Stop for a moment and ask, what do I need from them to move on? What story do I need to tell myself about this to feel complete? So, how do you actually create closure when your brain won't stop running loops? Here's a little practice, and it leads to number 5. Write the ending your brain is searching for. I remember there was a movie that someone told me about where you could choose the ending of the movie. I don't know which one it was, and I don't know if it's new or not. I think it might be, which is a unique way of watching a movie where you can decide your own ending between a few options and watch it play out. This is the same idea. Your brain needs narrative completion. Give it one by writing the ending yourself. And who doesn't love to write a good story? This isn't about truth, it's about resolution, because honestly, you will never get the truth anyway. So when you create coherent story, your brain stops searching for missing pieces. The goal isn't to rewrite history or pretend. It's to give your brain the narrative arc it's desperately seeking. You're working with your brain, not against it. You're completing the loop so your mind can file it away and move on. Think of your brain like a filing system. Right now, the divorce file is sitting on your desk marked incomplete. Every time you see it, your brain tries to finish it. But once you write the ending, file it away, your brain stops bringing it up. It's resolved. And if it wants to bring it up, you just remind it, I've already got the ending to this. It's the ending I needed. So tonight, try a few of these, or try it right now. Step 1, write the story of my marriage and divorce at the top of the page. Write the story from beginning to end as if you're narrating it to someone who doesn't know you. Just the facts, the arc, the ending. You might find yourself defending yourself or giving yourself excuses, but it doesn't matter. It's your story and you're telling it, and so you can tell it any way you'd like to. And step 3, at the end, write one sentence that completes it. And now I am blank, or what this has taught me is blank. This gives your brain the narrative completion it's been searching for. Most women feel immediate relief because the loop finally closes. So, in final thoughts, you're not broken for thinking about them. Your brain is doing exactly what it's designed to do, and that is to search for resolution. The moment you stop waiting for him or her to provide it and write the ending yourself, they lose power over you and that need you have to have them communicate with you, because the story is complete when you have stepped into it yourself. I hope this is helpful. Please like and subscribe so I can get the word out to others, and hopefully they can benefit from these videos as well. See you next week.